All right, AP Lit for Wednesday the 8th. So our text was The Story of an Hour, super duper famous play. Um, and I provided you certain foci to use for this one. I'm going to do that on the next several assignments. A couple of reasons why. A, we need two foci, and B, some of the texts are going to be kind of hard. The last couple right before the AP exam are going to be kind of tough. They're taken straight from previous AP exams. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing here this next month or so. So please follow that. Don't pick your own foci. Choose two of the three that I'm providing for you, please. Okay, so obviously an easy one for this text would be, is the character changed or unchanged? Louise, Mrs. Mallard, starts off shocked, then she kind of is resigned, then she kind of has a moment of clarity and this anticipation of some sort of freedom, and then of course she's dead. So please don't use that last one for changed and unchanged. Don't tell me that she was alive at the beginning and she's dead at the end. I mean, obviously it's an easy one, but it's not going to be a good essay. Okay, so think about some things there. There's a couple of different relationships you could comment on or discuss in this story. So think about the husband and wife, and then maybe also the relationship between Louise and her sister. Okay, and then also with this text, it's kind of tough. There's a couple of details in there that give some hints at was this a loving marriage? So I don't know. You tell me. I'm not gonna say one way or the other. I don't know, but there are some hints in the second column, I think, of the text. So look at that carefully. And then in terms of detail, there's kind of too much to list here, and the word choice and the setting almost kind of go together a little bit here. So just to give you a few examples. They talk about new spring life. Okay, so what do we think of when we think of spring? There's some rain. So again, what is that kind of symbolic of? Although we're not doing symbols here. Okay, but you could use the word choice to kind of discuss that a little bit. I think the sun is setting in the west, or she's looking out west. Okay, so maybe think about that and the symbolism. As it's related to that, and she's looking out at a blue sky. Okay, so if you want to kind of tackle setting via word choice, I guess you can kind of do that here because you're still focusing on, the diction or the word choice. Okay, a few other things. At one point they talk about, she has some sort of certain repression, but also I think in that same sentence they talk about her strength. So think about those two kind of opposites if you think about it, in terms of word choice there. Also, she talks about this thing. Okay, and the elixir of life is that the freedom that she's maybe looking forward to. Okay, so just some things to consider. It's a very simple story, and it uses very simple language, and she's probably making a very simple point with those things. So don't overlook kind of that easy stuff. All right. So our materials are going to be obviously the text. Hopefully, I'll give you some feedback on what you did for Tuesday, and then our new template. I should have posted that to Google Classroom for you to just click on, and it pops up and tells you exactly what to do. It wouldn't probably be a bad idea to print that off and maybe put it somewhere near you when we're going to do the AP exam. Hopefully you'll just kind of commit it to memory after these next 5 weeks of doing the same thing. But this is what we need to focus on. So in order to get a 4 in row B, which is your body paragraphs, you need to have two foci. If we do get to the exam and you only got one and you knock it out of the park, that would be good too. So as long as you have a solid thesis, and and one foci with a couple of examples, then you're probably going to get that 3 in row B, which gets you to a 4, which makes you pass the exam. Okay, so I'm not telling you to do 2 and don't force it if it's not there, because remember, they're not gonna give you things to choose from. They're gonna say literary elements or techniques, and it's up to you to pick from those. So maybe have a big old list of foci next to you as well. Okay, so I'll try to maybe post that right before the exam, so you can do that and have something to look at. Okay, another thing we need to focus on is explaining your idea in relation to the thesis. All right, because this is a solid way to get that 3 or 4 in row B, okay, on the exam. So, bring up your idea, give me an example or a quote, explain that, but then in the next sentence, explain how your idea relates back to your thesis. Okay, so again, just use that template, follow it sentence by sentence. Okay, no more intros. If you have time for that on the exam, fantastic, but I would just do the thesis statement because they're going to give you a point for it. Who cares if there's any other sentences there? So maybe your intro is just the thesis, okay, and then move down to body 1, body 2, and again, if you got time, tack on some sort of summary sentence or just kind of sum up your argument there at the end, okay? So obviously your assignment is going to be using the new template to write an essay, and that's what you need to turn in. Okay, just a little heads up, tomorrow, which is Thursday the 9th, I'm going to have you compare this story to A Doll's House, and I'm going to give you 3 options, and you'll just have to choose one. I don't need any quotes or anything. You'll just be kind of matching it up. So hopefully you still got that essay that you wrote, about a month ago or whenever we finished that. So just a little heads up for tomorrow. That's what's coming your way. All right. As always, if you got questions, send me an email. See you later.